of Emily Wilson's translation of Book 2 of the Odyssey called A Dangerous Journey. The early dawn was born, her fingers bloomed. Odysseus's well-beloved son jumped up, put on his clothes, and strapped his sword across his back, and tied his handsome sandals onto his well-oiled feet. He left the room looking just like a god. He quickly told the clear-voiced heralds they must call the Greeks to council. Soon the men, their long hair flowing, were gathered all together in the square. Telemachus arrived, bronze sword in hand, not by himself. 2 swift dogs came with him. Athena poured a heavenly grace upon him. The elders let him join them, and he sat upon his father's throne. The first to speak was wise Aegyptius, a bent old soldier. His darling son, the spearman, Antiphus, had sailed with Lord Odysseus to Troy. The Cyclops killed him in his cave and made him his final course at dinner. This old father had 3 sons left. One teamed up with the suitors, Erinymus. The others spent their time working the farm. But still, the father mourned the son whom he had lost. He spoke in tears. People of Ithaca, now hear my words. We have not met in council since the day Odysseus departed with his ships. Who called us? Someone old or young? And why? Has he found out an army is approaching? Or does he have some other piece of news which he would like to share with all of us? I think he is a helpful, decent man. I hope that Zeus rewards his good intentions. Odysseus's loving son felt glad and eagerly got up to speak and stood among them in the center of the group. The competent official, named Pisanor, passed him the speaking stick. He held it up and first addressed Aegyptius. Here, sir. Now, look no further for the man you seek. I called the meeting. I am in deep trouble. I have no information of an army that might attack us, nor do I have news of any other danger to our family. I need help for myself. My family has suffered 2 disasters. First, I lost my father, who was kind to you as if you were also his sons. Now, even worse, my house is being ripped apart. My wealth will soon be gone. The sons of all the nobles have shoved inside my house to court my mother, against her wishes. They should go and ask Icarius, her father, to provide a dowry, and choose who should be her husband. They are too scared. Instead, they haunt our house day after day and kill our cows and pigs and good fat goats. They feast and drink red wine, not caring if they waste it all. There is no man to save the house. No man like him, Odysseus. I cannot fight against them. I would be useless. I have had no training, but if I had the power, I would do it. It's unbearable what they've done. They ruined my whole house. It is not fair. You suitors all should feel ashamed. Consider what others in the neighborhood will think. And also, be afraid. The angry gods will turn on you in rage. They'll be shocked at all this criminal behavior. I beg you, by Olympian Zeus and by the goddess who presides in human meetings, justice. But never mind. Friends, leave me be, and let me cry and suffer by myself. Or did Odysseus, my warlike father, deliberately do harm to our own side? Is that why you seem set on hurting me, encouraging these suitors? Oh, if only you Ithacans would eat my stock yourselves. If you did that, I'd soon get revenge. I'd come through the town and keep demanding until it all got given back. But now, you make me so unhappy. This is pointless. He stopped, frustrated, flung the scepter down, and burst out, crying. Everyone was seized by pity. No one spoke. They hesitated to answer him unkindly, and then at last Antinous began. Telemachus, you stuck up, willful little boy, how dare you try to embarrass us and put the blame on us? We suitors have not done you wrong. Go blame your precious mother. She is cunning. It is the third year, soon it will be four, that she has cheated us of what we want. She offers hope to all, sends notes to each, but all the while her mind moves somewhere else. She came up with a special trick. She fixed a mighty loom inside the palace hall. Weaving her fine long cloth, she said to us, "Young men, you are my suitors. Since my husband, the brave Odysseus, is dead, I know you want to marry me. You must be patient. I have worked hard to weave this winding sheet to bury good Laertes when he dies. He gains such wealth, the woman would reproach me if he were buried with no shroud. Please let me finish it." And her words made sense to us, so every day she wove the mighty cloth, and then at night, by torchlight, she unwove it. For 3 long years her trick beguiled the Greeks, but when the fourth year seasons rolled around, a woman slave, who knew the truth, told us. We caught her there, unraveling the cloth, and made her finish it. This is our answer, so you and all the Greeks may understand. Dismiss your mother. Let her father tell her to marry anyone her heart desires. Athena blessed her with intelligence, great artistry, and skill. A finer mind than anyone has ever had before. Even the braided girls of ancient Greece, Tiro, Alcmene, garlanded Mycenae, none of them had Penelope's understanding. But if she wants to go on hurting us, her plans are contrary to destiny. We suitors will keep eating up your wealth and livelihood as long as she pursues this plan the gods have put inside her heart. For her, it may be glory, but for you, pure loss. We will not go back to our farms or anywhere until she picks a husband. Telemachus insisted, breathing hard. Antinous, I cannot force my mother out of the house. She gave me birth and raised me. My father is elsewhere, alive or dead. If I insist my mother has to leave, Icarius will make me pay the price, and gods will send more trouble. If she goes, mother will rouse up furies full of hate to take revenge, and everyone will curse me. I will not. If you feel upset, you go. Out of my house. Stop eating all my food. Devour each other's property, not mine. Or do you really think it right to waste one person's means of life and go scot-free? Then try it. I'll call the deathless gods. May Zeus give recompense some day for this. You will die here, and nobody will care. Then Zeus, whose voice resounds around the world, sent down 2 eagles from the mountain peak. At first they hovered on the breath of wind, close by each other, balancing on their wings. Reaching the noisy middle of the crowd, they wheeled and whirred and flapped their mighty wings, swooping at each man's head with eyes like death, and with their talons ripped each face and neck. Then to the right they flew, across the town. Everyone was astonished at the sight. They wondered in their hearts what this could mean. Old Halitherses, son of Mastor, spoke. More than any other elders, this old leader excelled at prophecy, and he knew the birds. He gave them good advice. Now, Ithacans, listen. I speak especially for the suitors. Disaster rolls their way. Odysseus will not be absent from his friends for long. Already he is near, and sows the seeds of death for all of them. And more disaster for many others in bright Ithaca. We have to form a plan to make them stop. That would be best for them as well, by far. I am experienced at prophecy. My words came true for him, that mastermind Odysseus. I told him when he left for Troy with all the Argives, he would suffer most terribly, and all his men would die. but in the 20th year he would come home, unrecognized. Now it is coming true. Eurymachus, the son of Polybus, replied, Old man, be off, go home and spout your portents to your children, or it will be worse for them. But I can read these omens better than you can. Many birds go flying in sunlight and not all are meaningful. Odysseus is dead, away from home. I wish you had died with him to stop your forecasts. You're making this boy angry, hoping that he will give your household gifts, but let me tell you this, which will come true. You may know many ancient forms of wisdom, but if you tease this boy and make him angry, he will be hurt and never get to act on any of these prophecies of yours. And, old man, we will make you pay so much, your heart will break, your pain will cut so deep. I will advise Telemachus myself, in front of everyone, to send his mother back to her father's family, to fix her wedding, and the gifts a well-loved daughter should have. Unless he does that, we will never cease from this torturous courtship. We are not afraid of anyone, much less this boy with his long speeches, nor your pointless portents. They will not come to pass, and they will make you hated. His house will be devoured, and payback will never come as long as she frustrates our hopes of marriage. Meanwhile, we will wait in daily hope, competing for the prize, not seeking other women as our wives. Telemachus, his mind made up, replied, All right, Eurymachus, all of you, I will not talk about this anymore. The gods and all of you already know. Just let me have a ship and 20 men to make a journey with me out and back to Sparta and to sandy Pylos, seeking news about when my father may come home. I may hear it from somebody, or from a voice from Zeus. It often happens so. If I find out my father is alive and coming home, I will endure this pain for 1 more year. But if I hear that he's dead, I will come home to my own land and build a tomb and hold the funeral rites as he deserves, and I will give my mother to a new husband. He sat down, and up stood Mentor. When Odysseus sailed off, this was the friend he asked to guard his house and told the slaves to look to him as master. Mentor addressed the crowd. Now, Ithacans, listen, this changes everything. Now, kings should never try to judge with righteousness or rule their people gently. Kings should always be cruel, since the people whom he ruled as kindly as a father have forgotten their king, Odysseus. I do not blame the suitors' overconfidence, rough ways, and violence. In eating up his household, they risk their lives, supposing that their master will never come back home. But I do blame you others, sitting, passive, never speaking against them, though you far outnumber them. Lucretus, Eunor's son, replied, Mentor, for shame! You must have lost your mind. Fool, telling us to stop our banqueting. You could not fight us. We outnumber you. Even if Ithacan Odysseus came back and found us feasting in his house and tried to drive us out, his wife would get no joy of his return, no matter how she misses him. If he tried fighting solo against us, he would die a cruel death. So, what you said was nonsense. Anyway, we must disperse and everyone get busy. Mentor and Halitherses, since you are old comrades of his father, you can guide Telemachus' journey. I suspect he will not manage to go anywhere. He'll just wait in Ithaca for news. The crowd broke up. The Ithacans went home, the suitors to Odysseus' house. Telemachus slipped out, and at the beach he dipped his hands in salty gray seawater and asked Athena, Goddess, hear my prayer. Just yesterday you came and ordered me to sail the hazy sea and find out news of my long-absent father's journey home. The Greeks are wasting everything, especially these bullying mean suitors. Then Athena came near him with the voice and guise of Mentor, and spoke to him with words that flew like birds. Telemachus, you will be brave and thoughtful if your own father's forcefulness runs through you. How capable he was in word and deed. Your journey will succeed if you are his. If you're not his son by Penelope, I doubt you can achieve what you desire. And it is rare for sons to be like their fathers. Only a few are better. Most are worse. But you will be no coward and no fool. You do possess your father's cunning mind. So there is hope. You will do all these things. Forget about these foolish suitors' plans. They have no brains and no morality. They do not know black doom will kill them all. And some day soon, their death is near at hand. You will achieve the journey that you seek, since I will go with you, just like a father. I will equip a good swift ship for you. Now, go back home to where those suitors are and get provisions. Pack them in containers, some wine in jars and grain, the strength of men, in sturdy skins. And I will go through town calling for volunteers to come with us. There are a lot of ships in Ithaca, both new and old. I will select the best one. We will equip her quickly and sail fast, far off across the sea. So spoke the goddess, daughter of Zeus. Telemachus obeyed. His heart was troubled as he went back home. He found the arrogant suitors in the hall, skinning some goats and charring hogs for dinner. Antinous began to laugh. He called him and seized his hand and spoke these words to him. Telemachus, you are being so pig-headed. Why not put all your troubles from your heart? Come, eat and drink with me, just as before. You know the Greeks will fix it all for you. They will select a ship and crew, and soon you will reach Pylos, where you hope to hear word of your father. But the boy was wary and said, Antinous, I cannot eat. I have no peace or joy when I am with you selfish suitors. Is it not enough that you destroyed my rich inheritance when I was just a little boy? But now I have grown bigger, and I got advice from other people, and my heart wells up with courage. I will try to bring down doom on your heads here at home, or when I go to Pylos. Yes, I really will go there as passenger, although I do not own a ship or have a crew because of you. He snatched his hand away. But as they feasted, the suitors started mocking him and jeering. With sneers they said, Oh no, Telemachus is going to kill us. He will bring supporters from Pylos or from Sparta. He's quite determined. Or indeed, he may be fetching some lethal poisons from the fertile fields of Ephra to mix up in our wine bowl and kill us all. Another proud young man said, Well, who knows? Perhaps he will get lost in that curved ship and die, so far away from all his family, just like his father. And what a pity that would be for us. Then we would have to share out all his wealth and give away the house itself to her, his mother, then the man who marries her. The boy went downstairs to his father's storeroom, wide and high-roofed, piled high with gold and bronze and clothes and chests and fragrant olive oil. Down there, the jars of vintage wine were stored, which held the sweet, unmixed, and godlike drink, lined in a row against the wall, in case weary Odysseus came home at last. The double doors were locked and closely fitted. A woman checked the contents night and day, guarding it all with great intelligence, and that was Eurycleia, child of Ops. Telemachus called her to the chamber and addressed her. Nanny, please pour sweet wine in jugs for me. The second best one, not the one you keep for when the poor unlucky king escapes from evil fate and death and comes back home. Fill up 20 jugs with wine for me, 12 jugs with wine for me. Pour me some 20 pounds of fine milled barley groats, all packed in sturdy leather bags. Load up all those provisions secretly. At nightfall I will come here and get them when my mother has gone upstairs to go to sleep. I'm leaving for Sparta and sandy Pylos to learn about my father's journey home. At that, his loving nurse began to wail and sobbed, "Sweet child, what gave you this idea? Why do you want to go so far? You're an only child and dearly loved. The king, Odysseus, is gone, lost, far from home, and they will plot against you when you leave, scheming to murder you and share this wealth. Stay with us, we who love you. Do not go searching for danger out on restless seas." Telemachus decisively replied, "Nanny, you need not worry. Gods have blessed this plan, but promise me you will not tell mother until she notices me gone. Say nothing for 12 days, so she will not start crying. It will spoil her pretty skin." At that, the old nurse swore a mighty oath by all the gods that she would keep the secret. And then she drew the wine for him in jars and poured the barley groats in well-stitched bags. Telemachus returned to see the suitors. Meanwhile, bright-eyed Athena had a plan. Resembling Telemachus, she went all through the city, standing by each man, and urged them to assemble by the ship at night, and asked the son of Phronius, Nomon, for his speedy ship he promised to give it gladly. Then the sun went down, and all the streets grew dark. The goddess dragged the ship into the water, and she loaded the necessary tackle for a journey. Right at the beach's farthest end the goddess stood, and assembled good strong men as crew. She coached each one. Then, eyes ablaze with plans, she went back to Odysseus's house, and poured sweet sleep upon the drunken suitors. She struck them, and their cups fell from their hands. Disguised as Mentor, both in looks and voice, she called the boy out from the mighty hall, and looked intently in his face, and said, "Telemachus, your crew of armored men is ready at the oar for your departure. Come on, no time to waste, we must be gone." So speaking, Pallas Athena quickly led the boy. He followed in the footsteps of the goddess. They went down to the seashore in the ship, and found the long-haired sailors on the beach. Inspired and confident, Telemachus called out, "My friends, come on, let us go fetch the rations. They are ready in the hall, but quietly. My mother does not know, nor do the other women, except one." And so he led them, and they followed him. They loaded everything upon the decks. Odysseus' son instructed them, and they embarked. Athena led the way. She sat down in the stern, and next to her Telemachus was sitting. Then the crew released the ropes and boarded, each at oar. Athena called a favorable wind, pure zephyr whistling on wine-dark sea. Telemachus commanded his companions to seize the rigging. So they did, and raised the pine-wood mast inside the rounded block, and bound it down with forestays round about, and raised the bright white sails with leather ropes. Wind blew the middle sail. The purple wave was splashing loudly round the moving keel. The goddess rode the waves and smoothed the way. The quick black ship held steady. So they fastened the tackle down, and filled their cups with wine. They poured libations to the deathless gods, especially to the bright-eyed child of Zeus. All through the night, till dawn, the ship sailed on.